Now on to the circuit judge for Division 5. Our Republican candidate is Vic Melenbrink. He has not previously held political office. He's an Arnold resident and has served Jefferson County as Jefferson County Municipal Court prosecutor since 2011. Prior to this position, he worked in the Missouri Attorney General's office as an associate with the Schneier Law Firm in Hillsborough and as a St. Louis County Assistant County Counselor. Additionally, since 2011, Mr. Melenbrink has been an adjunct instructor at the Jefferson College Law Enforcement Academy. He's an Eagle Scout and is currently on the Habitat for Humanity Jefferson County Board of Directors. Please welcome Vic Melenbrink.
Raise that up a little bit. Good evening. My name is Vic Melenbrink, and I'm running for Circuit Judge. First, I'll tell you a little bit about me. It might be a little bit of repetition since a little bit of my bio was brought up. I'm a husband and father of 3 great kids, age 10, 9, and 1. I'm an officer at the Board of Habitat for Humanity. I'm also an Eagle Scout and a pro-life Catholic. I teach political science and constitutional law as an adjunct professor here at the Jefferson County Law Enforcement Academy. I went to school at Mizzou, and after working in Jefferson City for a few years, I moved back to Jefferson County to live closer to my family. I've been an attorney for more than 11 years, with most of that time as a criminal prosecutor. I was hired out of law school as an assistant attorney general for the state of Missouri, and my job was to handle felony appeals. That means that I got cases where someone was convicted of a crime, and we're talking about serious crimes, murder, rape, robbery, and they were arguing that the judge made a mistake and they should get a new trial. My job as an assistant attorney general was to figure out whether judges made mistakes, and if not, try to keep the convicted felon in jail. More recently, my job has been prosecuting violations of county law. I've taken dozens of cases to trial, some with juries, some without, and since 2011, I've done that here in Jefferson County. I've been working to protect the safety and property of our families. I take my job seriously, and one area that I've focused on has been driving while intoxicated cases. If you compare my first 4 years on the job with the 4 years since I took over, you can see that Jefferson County has experienced a 20% reduction in drunk driving crashes and a 45% reduction in drunk driving fatalities. I handle hundreds of DWI cases every year, and I'm proud that my office, along with the Sheriff's Department, including some deputies that I helped train here at the Academy, I'm proud that we've been able to achieve that kind of progress. I also take my job seriously when it comes to victims of crime. I've made it a priority, even though it isn't necessarily my job as a prosecutor, to try to help people get money back as restitution if they were victims of a crime. For example, let's say that your car gets hit by someone without insurance. You're responsible, so you have your own insurance, but your insurance company only pays for part of the damage. You still get stuck with a $500 deductible, even though you didn't do anything wrong. Now, honestly, are you going to take that person to court and try to get that $500 back? Probably not. It's not worth hiring an attorney. It's not worth missing work to go to court. But as a prosecutor, it's much easier for me to try to help you get that money back because I actually have leverage in that case. Sometimes people get annoyed with me because this does tend to sometimes slow down the process, but I view it as a service to the people of this county that only takes a little bit of extra effort on my part, and it can make a real difference to a lot of people. I have kids. I know that that $500 deductible that you weren't planning on losing, that's the difference between a big Christmas and a small Christmas. Individually, these aren't important cases. They're small cases, but they affect hundreds of our friends and neighbors every year, so I try to do what I can. Jefferson County this year has the choice between 2 qualified judges to fill the vacancy that exists in Division 5. So I think what this election comes down to is which of us you believe shares your values. Here's why I believe that you should choose me to fill this vacancy. I believe in 2 things: second chances and personal responsibility. Second chances are important. We're human. We make mistakes. We don't want to send low-level criminals to prison and have them get worse. We don't want troubled teenagers to turn into career criminals. I would work to support and expand the treatment options and diversion programs that are available to offenders that need help, especially veterans that are suffering as a result of their service to our country. On the other hand, personal responsibility is the cornerstone of our society. You are responsible for the choices that you make in life, and if you make really bad decisions, you are going to pay a penalty. Actions have consequences. Sending someone to jail for the rest of their life isn't fun. I've been involved in that process. It's a heavy responsibility, but I have the experience and judgment to walk that line between giving people second chances and making sure that actions have consequences. I'm 35 years old. A lot of people tell me that I seem young to be a judge. My usual response is that a lot of judges are around my age when they start. They just tend to stick around for a while, so they seem older. The judge that I'm running to replace was in her 30s. Lisa Page was in her 30s when she first became a judge, and now she's on the Court of Appeals. Judge Gary Kramer served Jefferson County for 30 years, and he was actually younger than me when he first became a judge. In fact, my opponent was actually younger than me and had less legal experience the first time that she ran for judge. So I don't think anyone should have any hesitation about me just because of my age. And here's another thought on experience. What I want you to do is think back to your high school. Think about who was the best teacher that you had in high school. Once you have somebody in mind, I want you to ask yourself, why were they the best teacher? Did you choose that person because they had the most years of service as a teacher? I doubt it. Experience is great, don't get me wrong, but without more, it's just a number. You chose that person, or you have that person in mind that they were the best because they worked the hardest, because they had the best ideas, because they cared the most about their job. If Jefferson County elects Vic Melenbrink, that's what they will be getting in a judge. Now, during this election, I've tried to keep things positive and just talk about myself. I don't plan to change that tonight. But last week, my opponent did say something on her Facebook page, and I'll quote, "Our county does not need a judge that will learn on the job." I think that's obviously a shot at me, so it's only fair that I get to respond. So I want to think about what that statement means. Our county does not need a judge that will learn on the job. I think there's a couple of options for what that could mean. It could mean voters should never vote for a judicial candidate who isn't already a judge. Well, there's a big problem with that. None of the judges that I know were born with robes on. Every judge, even the very best judges, at some point had their first day on the job. So that doesn't work. So option number two, it could mean voters should always vote for a current judge over someone who isn't a judge. I can understand the appeal there, but that option has its own set of problems because it clearly demonstrates the sense of entitlement that some people have who hold elected office. It's essentially saying you should never take my seat away from me. Here's the problem. These aren't lifetime appointments. It's not your seat. It's not my seat. It's not the governor's seat. This seat belongs to the people of Jefferson County, and we have to earn the right to sit there. Option number three, it could just mean what it says. Judges shouldn't learn on the job. That's the literal interpretation. But I also think it's the worst meaning. I absolutely disagree. Counties should only have judges that will learn on the job. No one with the arrogance to think they have all the answers and doesn't need to learn on the job has any business having a robe. I'll make a promise to you here and now, and I'm not generally supposed to do that, but I'm going to keep it kind of general. If you elect Vic Melenbrink, I will come to court every day with an open mind, ready to listen, with a desire to learn, with a desire to improve, and with the humility to admit that I might not always have all the answers. Because if you aren't willing to do those things, justice is not possible. My name is Vic Melenbrink. I appreciate your attention, and I would appreciate your vote in November. Thank you.